If your webhooks are public, then they are easily accessible on the internet. So in this tutorial, I'll quickly explain how you can safeguard your webhooks so they're only accessible by users that you want them to access. So let's get straight into the topic. So first thing, what exactly is a webhook? Webhook is actually a URL that specifically listens for some sort of events. Let's say if a form is submitted, then you can trigger the webhook. And let's say if a payment is done, you can trigger the webhook, right? It's just like a trigger that you can have in N8N to start the workflow, right? So by default, the authentication that you have on the webhook node is set to none. So anybody who queries the webhook will be able to get the response out of it. So let's take an example. I have an example over here. So this example, we have a webhook that is connected to the AI agent. Now it is very basic. For the webhook, I'll just double click on this. So for this webhook, we have the authentication set as none, and the response that we are going to do is basically going to be sent through a webhook node again, which is this node, right? So this is connected to the AI agent. Now AI agent is a travel agent. Let's say you can have any other use case as well. And whenever you try to execute this workflow, it will try to output whatever is the response from this AI agent. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll try to execute this workflow. Now to execute this workflow, I have this endpoint. Now I'm trying to do the test execution. So you just copy this endpoint and we need to make a post request to this endpoint. So I'll copy this endpoint. I'll go to Postman. I have a Postman. So Postman is like just a API testing tool. You can download it from Mac and Mac OS. So I'll paste the URL. I'll set the method as post. Okay. Now click on send. What really happens is whenever you're trying to execute it, it will just literally give you the output right away. So it would say, hello, how can I assist you with travel plans today? Are you looking for destination, suggestions? Because it's a travel agent, right? Now, what happened over here is if somebody gets access to this URL and they just post it out, you will be completely, literally, you'll be spending a lot of tokens, because if they get access to this URL, they are completely open to use however they want, right? So to avoid that, we have got few authentication mechanisms. So your users will only be able to access the endpoint if they provide some sort of credentials, right? So let's just do quick check on what authentication methods do we have. So first we'll go through the very basic one, which is this one. Okay. So I'll set it as basic auth. Okay. All right. This case, we have the first one, which is basic auth. Now, what is basic auth? Basic auth is basically a way to authenticate using a username and password. So let's say if you have an API that you have predefined username and password you have set, and you can only query the API if you have the credentials. So this is what we'll be doing. So if you double click on this, okay, you set the basic auth authentication and create the credential for the basic auth. So I already have one credential. I'll create a new credential. So this is where you'll pass the username and the password. So let's say if I set the username as admin and the password as again admin. Now again, you have to make sure that this is quite hard to guess. It's not something that is easy to remember, right? It should be quite hard to guess because this is essentially username and password. So if you click on save, now if you check on the endpoint, this is authenticated using basic auth. Okay. So anybody who has got credentials will be able to access this endpoint. So I'll just do a quick check. So listen for the event. I'll just copy this URL. I'll do a paste over here and do a post request again on this endpoint. Now it would give me an error saying authorization is required because I have not passed anything in terms of username and password. So now what I'll do is I'll just pass the username and password over here. So I go to authorization and I set the auth type as basic auth. Okay. And I pass the username and password over here. So I'll set admin and whatever was the password, admin. Okay. I'll click on send. And now it will just try to execute this workflow. So I was basically, on this particular event, what we do is execute this workflow. So this is now good to go. Click on send. Now this should give you the output which says, hello, how can I assist you with travel plans? So that means if you have this credential, you will be able to access the endpoint. So that was basic auth. Now we have got another header, so now we got another authentication mechanism, which is a header auth. Now, there are some APIs that you only have access to when you pass something in the header. So this is exactly what we are trying to refer. So let's say if I set it as a specific authentication set as header auth, now what will happen is if we pass a specific key and a specific value in the header, then we will be able to get access to this API. So create a credential, same thing, okay? This is the name and this is the value. So let's say if I want to set X API key. So this is just like a normal format that I have. I mean, you can keep any other name, but just for time being, I'll have this. And this is going to be a very cryptic key. Again, you can set it out, right away. Let's say if I want to do it as admin1234. Okay. Now this API key will basically be yours. Whatever you define will be able to, if somebody passes the same API key, then you will be able to get this part. So again, you can do like multiple things. You can bring this API key dynamically and all of that. But for time being, let's just completely, be a like very plain example. Okay. So I've set like test123 as an API key and I click on save. Now this was header auth. Now if I try to access the endpoint using the basic auth, okay, it would give me an error saying, this header is missing, right? So I'll just click on the workflow over here and I'll execute this. Okay, so this is good to go. Execute. So it says authorization data is missing. Now what exactly is happening is I need to set up the authorization header. So if you go over here, you will have set it to no auth, okay, and set it to headers as the key is the one that we have specified, which is X. So I'll set it up over here, X API key, and the value that I added was test123. Again, click a send. Now you'll be able to get data, right? Because we are now authenticated. So let's say if I change it to 999, whatever is the wrong value, I click on send again, it would give me, something that is, it's invalid, right? So if I restart the workflow again and click on send, and it would give me authorization data is missing because it's just incorrect, right? So if it is correct, rerun this again, okay, and just click on send and it would give you the data. Okay, so that was the second authentication method, which was the header auth. Now the third one is JWT. Now, a lot of people think JWT is a bit more complex thing, but I'll keep it very simple. Okay, specifically JWT is called as JSON Web Token. It's basically used to encrypt and provide like high level of security, just to cut in short, just to sum it up. So let's say if you want this endpoint to be very, very secure, what you need to do is just set up a JWT token for this. So double click on the endpoint. So double click on the webhook node. This time we'll select the authentication as JWT auth. And now we'll create a credential for JWT. So you will create a credential. So we have one tool which is called JWT IO. Okay, if I'll paste the link in the description as well, and also all the tutorials will be in my community as well. You can reference all of them over here. You can join the community for free and just explore all the tutorials that I have on this channel. Now click on this jwttoken.io. So I'll explain what this part is. So what we need to do is basically encode the JWT because we are creating a JWT. Okay, so this is the coder. I'll click on the encoder. Now don't be, so I know this is quite hard to get, but like be with me, I'll try to explain every single thing. So algorithm is HS256, type is JWT. You don't need to worry about it a lot. Just be, keep it whatever we have. And then this is the payload. Now exactly what payload is, that means let's say if you want to set up some sort of users, that means each user has got the JWT token, then you can specify the name over here. And let's say if you have different roles, admin, user, all of that, you can set it true and false based on whatever you want. So for time being, it's fine. Like this is completely fine to have. And the third thing is we need a secret to sign this payload, which means to encrypt this payload. So this is the secret key for now. You can again add different digits or whatever, just try to make it a bit more long. And then when you click on this, this is the JWT web token that got generated with all the data on the left. So we basically use this algorithm with this key and encrypted this information, and this is what you got, right? So what we need to do is you need to do the exact same on N8N. So if I go to JWT auth account, which I basically got when I created a credential for JWT, so create a credential, And the key type is going to be passphrase, because this is the exact passphrase that we'll be using. This is the passphrase secret key, and secret key is going to be the one that I pasted. So this is the secret key. Okay, so I'll paste it over here, and the algorithm is going to be HS256. This is the algorithm, the same algorithm. Okay, and what I'll do is basically just save this out. So oops, there's just one thing that I need. So copy this passphrase as secret key and HS250 save. Okay, so this is what we got created, and this is the token that we have. Okay, so now I'll copy the token. Okay, and then I'll just listen for the event, which is this execute this workflow. Okay, now what I need to do to pass this token into the API request is before you send, let's do a quick check. So it says no token provided. Okay, that means we have to provide some sort of mechanism authentication, right? So if you go to authorization and you set the token as bearer token, okay. So okay, let's do JWT bearer. Okay, so this is okay. Let's do bearer token. Okay, and to paste the token over here. If you paste the token and click on send, this will actually give all the data that you have, which means this token got authenticated because we have everything over here in terms of credentials, and then you have the data that gets passed from the JWT payload. So you remember, whatever got passed over here, which was John Doe, admin, sub, all the fields are coming from the payload as well. So John Doe, admin, and IAT. And then you can again change the permission based on whatever you want to do with the users and all of that. So this is what JWT token and authentication was. So if you have any questions, feel free to just comment below. I'll help you with all the things. And by the way, I'll be sharing all the templates in the community itself. So please make sure to join the community, and I'll see you in the next video.